by AC/DC, always a sure song that is going to hype up the fans, being played in the background. And we have soccer folks here on a Wednesday evening, and right as the game starts, we get our first whistle of the evening.
Do we have soccer? Maybe not yet. It's a little bit of a pause in the action early on, literally a second in, and they're going to have to reset the 45. That's what it's all about.
This is exactly what I came for. All right, so we're going to reset things here and do it again. Sophie Real is going to get us started, and now we have soccer here at Kagan Stadium. Stanford coming off a very dominant performance in their last outing, winning 6-0 over Pittsburgh. They have had no issues in their first 2 seasons as an ACC institution. And this year, I mean, it's hard to it's hard to beat getting to the national semifinals, but if there was ever a team that thinks they could be even better, this 2025 Stanford team thinks that they can even top that.
And you look at it, and they've done it without one of their key defenders, Sophie Murdoch, who's been out for most of the year. She's back in the starting lineup today. They've had to switch around the defense, and still the defense has been stellar.
Coming down to the Boston College side here on the far sideline. Stanford trying to create their first goal-scoring opportunity, and there is a nice ball towards the goal there for Ali Montoya.
Love the action on the first real set play of the game. Kitahata going down the left side. The cross into the box, just a little bit mistimed by Montoya on the jump, but an opportunity for a header early on, and she just couldn't swing it in.
It'll be interesting to see how Boston College, with their youth, how they'll respond to the physicality of Stanford. Stanford, a veteran team with lots of international experience. They are used to playing a rough-and-tumble game.
Yeah, this is a real test for Boston College, and on the same note, a test for Stanford, because this Boston College team, like you mentioned, is a dominant defensive unit, one of the best that Stanford's faced this year.
Boston College starting 3 freshmen here in their starting 11, and then a couple of sophomores as well. Inside to Montoya. Montoya with the first real opportunity of the game there, and it goes far left.
2 really good looks early on for Ali Montoya. Good passing and then good handling from Ali Montoya. Just outside that 6-yard box, she was able to. She tried to curl it in, just missed, like you said, a little wide to the outside.
So Boston College, who has yet to get any sort of sustained offensive possession going, once again finding trouble here with the Stanford defense. Stanford in the home blacks, Boston College in the visiting whites. And there's a whistle, and Boston College will get possession.
We talked about Stanford's tenacious defense early on, and yes, it starts with the back line. Stanford's got 4 defenders back there, but also it starts with the forwards, because you have players like Jasmine Aikey who defend for the entire 90 meters. It's just, she does not give up. You look at all of the attackers on this Stanford line, and they are not giving up the entire way, and that allows the defenders, when the ball gets into the attacking third of the opposition, allows the defenders to, like that, body up a little bit more.
And considering that, you know, Boston College, we talked about in the open, only 5 goals allowed early in this season, which is less than Stanford. I think Boston College, if they want to win this game, they're hoping for a low-scoring, gritty contest where they can maybe steal it at the end. Montoya over on the right side in the box, trying to make a defender miss, goes towards the baseline and kicks it towards the far sideline. Stanford will track it down. Shea Harvey with it. She finds Elise Evans, and they're going to reset here with Sophie Murdoch. Murdoch looking towards the box.
Really solid looks early on for the Cardinals. See if they can capitalize. Again, this Boston College defense is terrific, but they've shown that they have bent so far today.
Freer had a little bit of a gap there, but nice defense from Boston College. That nice defensive play from Amalia Dre of the Eagles. And so the Eagles will get another offensive possession. Stanford with 1 shot so far here as we get through the first 4 minutes of the first half. Boston College hasn't really played much over on the Stanford side of the field. It's been most of the play has been done on the right side of the field on your television screen. And Stanford dominating the time of possession here early in this one. This is Evans. trying to find an offensive opportunity there. Nifty pass and missed opportunity there for Stanford. That was Jasmine Aikey who tried to do a nifty turnaround shot. And Boston College trying to go the other way. Had a little bit of a leak there as Emily Mara was trying to catch Stanford's defense off guard, but good defense there getting back by the Cardinal.
Love the hustle, though, from Boston College. On the clearance by their own squad, Mara is able to track it near the goalkeeper. She just couldn't reach Burkle enough, and then Burkle was able to drift back, and now Stanford gets to reset, and this is where they're dangerous. If you watch, like you said, right side of your screen, the Stanford attack, watch how they break through the defense off ball.
Evans with it, bringing it up the field. Again, good defense there from Boston College. I don't think anyone questions whether Boston College can defend. The question is, can they get any sort of offense going against Stanford? And the longer you're over, under pressure with a team like Stanford, eventually there's going to be some cracks. Montoya over on the right side, kicks it towards the goal. Dangerous play there from the Boston College defense. Stanford gets it back. Again, all this action happening in the Boston College box. Montoya with it once again on the right side with a little lob kick towards the goalkeeper. And that'll be taken in by Shippy. And Boston College will come the other way.
Just another good offensive opportunity for the Cardinal. They've outshot Boston College 2-0 to this point. Feels like every time they get past midfield, they have an opportunity to attack. And most of the time, it's been Montoya today.
So Stanford, once again, it just seems like every time Boston College tries to get something going, I look up and Stanford's got the ball again. This time Boston College maybe has a little bit of an opportunity. It just doesn't seem like their passes are all that crisp compared to Stanford's.
There you go. Threw it right to a Stanford defender, and then they'll get to reset again. You're completely right. Stanford feels like they've got the direction early on. Boston College just trying to break through. But the Eagles are lucky. Nothing so far through about 5.5, 6 minutes.
And it's interesting. Elise Evans, who is one of the top defenders in the ACC, if not the country, she has really been the focal point of this offense so far. You can tell that Stanford really trusts her to get their offense initiated and start pushing the ball towards the Boston College side. This team, of course, assembled by Paul Ratcliffe, the legendary Stanford head coach, as Montoya dribbling towards the box, finds Young. Young inside, and shot there that's kicked away by Boston College. And that'll result in a Stanford corner.
Just another good look for the Cardinal. I feel like a broken record. Joel Jung had a really, really good opportunity there. It was, I'm not going to say a lucky opportunity from the Boston College defense, but it results in a corner, and Jung, who's been really, really money on these, will take it.
Jung with the corner kick, and that gets past the slew of bodies around the goal. Little lob kick towards the goal again. Dangerous there for Boston College. Their goalie, Shippy, collided with one of her own teammates, almost led to the ball bouncing into the goal inadvertently. And Boston College, once again, under immense pressure, finds a way to kick it out. And that'll be a whistle as Emily Mara falls to the ground.
But the hustle from Montoya set that one up. All the way down, end line to end line, cutting in front of Mara, and a throw-in is better than an open opportunity to counter.
So we'll see if Boston College can get any sort of sustained offensive possession going here. Amalia Dre is going to switch out here for her teammate Sophia Lowenberg, and Lowenberg is going to be on the ball to start. Ticking to just about 9 minutes done here in the first half of play. Again, it's been all Stanford so far, despite the fact there's nothing on the scoreboard yet. There's a whistle. Another one on Stanford. And so Stanford's aggressive defense, it's going to lead to some fouls. And if you're Boston College, you're going to have very few opportunities in this game over on the Stanford side, at least if the beginning of this game tells us anything. So you're going to have to execute when you get those opportunities.
Yeah, to a point, it's who cares about the fouls if you're the Cardinal. They understand that that's part of their game. They're going to play that aggressive defense. It's going to lead to whistles, but it also lead to 7 goals scored by the opponent through 9 games.
Stanford with 77 fouls on the season. Boston College has their fair share of fouling as well, 95 fouls on the season, so actually considerably more than Stanford. Once again, Lowenberg. She kicks it towards the goal, and that might be the easiest save of Caroline Burkle's life as she falls on it right in front of the goal. And so Lowenberg with a kick kind of on the ground there towards Burkle, and Stanford will come the other way.
Lowenberg's someone to watch out for. There really are a couple really solid attackers on this Boston College team. Lowenberg's one of them. She's got 3. Emily Mara and Mila Lee, 2 freshmen who have been really, really good this year. Both of them some of the leading freshmen in the ACC in terms of goals scored.
Lowenberg started the season really, really strong. She scored in the first 2 games for Boston College against Stonehill and Farley Dickinson University. 3 goals on the season for Lowenberg. As this is going to be a goal for Stanford. My, oh my, I don't believe what I just saw. Shippy kicked it. Kicked it right off of Jasmine Aikey. And so Aikey gets the goal on the carom. And it's 1-0 Cardinal. Shippy just kicked it so hard right off of Aikey, the ball just rolled into the goal, and that is a tough mistake there for Boston College. You just can't have that if you're going to try to beat the number 3 team in the nation.
I know you're a big baseball guy. You hear it a lot in baseball. When you're hot, and Jasmine Ike is on fire right now. Call it lucky if you want. Hey, I give all the credit to Jasmine Ike. In the book, that's a goal. That's a goal that she scored by herself. No assists to the other team. Jasmine Ike. Yeah, right, bottom right of the goal off the left foot, and she puts through her 8th, and what a weird way to get your 30th career goal.
To use another baseball analogy, that's like if you knock in the game-winning run on an infield hit.
Right.
A little swing and bunt.
How about a balk?
So Ike with her 8th goal on the season, the member of the 2024 All-ACC second team, having a fantastic start to the 2025 campaign. She had 1 goal all of last year and still managed to be on the ACC second team, which just shows you how good of a defender she is. But now 8 goals on the season here in 2025. What a season it has been for the 5'10 senior. So Stanford up 1-0, and it's so interesting. You know, they've been pressuring Boston College throughout the game, and it ended up being a possession where they really didn't have much pressure at all. It was just an unforced mistake from Boston College that leads to the first goal of the game.
Want to get some more perspective on how unbelievable Jasmine Ike's season is? If you extrapolate out to the whole season, Jasmine Ike has outscored Stanford's opponents. It's Jasmine Ike 8.
That's true. That's true.
Stanford opponents 7.
The Stanford team truly dominant. And that just shows you how dominant you are when your top scorer is scoring more than all of your opponents. So Stanford, once again, on the Boston College side. Ike, once again, kicking it towards the goal. This one will go off the net on the right side. Dusk beginning to be fallless here at Kagan Stadium. Getting some earlier sunsets as we get into further and further into fall. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Kyle Morrison here with Austin Oda. Stanford versus Boston College here. Some ACC women's soccer action. Stanford, one of the top teams in the nation, number 3 in the recent polling, as they try to follow up what was a fantastic year last year, finishing in the Final Four with a national championship run this year. Of course, that's always the goal for this program. Up 1-0 here to start with just over 12 minutes off the clock in the first half. Boston College coming the other way. This is their first real opportunity in Stanford territory, and that's going to be saved by Burkle. And you can see Burkle there just trying to tell her defense to calm down.
I love the play by Evans on that one, though, because she knew she couldn't outrun the opposition, so she played the angle. She cut off the angle of the attacker. That's Emily Mara, who is one of the top goal scorers on this team, one of the tops in the conference. And so, you know, right? You circle that. You highlight that on the scouting report. Mara's going to try to score. We put our best defender on her, and Evans does a great job to cut off that angle and stop the attack.
Stanford's defense has been as advertised so far. Really, Boston College's defense has been really good as well. Again, the only goal that's been scored was an unforced error. Every time that Boston College has been pressured, they've answered the call. This is Ike with the ball. Ike's going to slow things down. Give it back to Evans. Stanford kind of passing it around here just behind the midfield. Evans, once again, kind of that stalwart in command of the offense. Jung. And you just notice some differences here between Stanford and Boston College. Again, Stanford is a much more experienced team than Boston College. Is getting tripped up there for BC is Emily Mara. But as I was saying, Austin, Stanford, it just seems when they're on offense, they're much calmer. They move the ball with much more precision. They just are very patient, very confident in themselves. What I've seen from Boston College, and hey, you can't blame them when they're so young coming into an atmosphere like this against the number 3 in the team in the nation. They just seem rushed in all of their passes. And that's one of the reasons why Stanford has had so much success offensively so far.
You said it. I think it just looks like this team is a little out of rhythm. One thing with Stanford, you see them, and they're on the attack, and their head is always up. They're looking to pass. They're looking to go. On the other end, Boston College is looking for defenders, trying to get past defenders instead of trying to get it to teammates.
Stanford once again with possession. What's new? Shea Harvey kicks it towards the right side. Montoya over to Jung. Back to Montoya. Montoya trying to make a defender miss. Freer gets tripped up and gets the ball taken away. That draws some oohs and ahs, but all Boston College can do is really eschew the ball towards the other side, and Stanford's going to get it right back.
Yeah, I thought that one was a pretty obvious push, to be honest, from Sophie Real. Looked like Freer had an angle, and the only thing that Real could do was try to cut her off.
Real, the top transfer for Boston College, coming from UCLA. She's a Massachusetts girl, so a bit of a homecoming for her coming back to Boston College. She has been the top goal scorer for the Eagles, scoring 6 goals so far on the season. And she comes in with all kinds of credentials in the Massachusetts community. The 2023 Massachusetts Gatorade Player of the Year. And you talked about there, Real, probably tripped up Lily Freer on that play, but in a larger picture, Real has been such a big part of this Boston College team this year.
She's been fantastic. Like you said, the leading goal scorer has a hat trick this year, which is always impressive no matter who it's against. And so again, you talk about people that are circled on the opposition's roster. You've got that star next to their name, and she's one of them.
Scored that hat trick on August 31st against Albany. Once again, Boston College, they play mostly East Coast teams in their non-conference before the ACC schedule starts. Now here on the West Coast to take on Stanford. Boston College is going to get both Bay Area schools out of the way in the ACC. They'll take on Cal on Sunday. That game will be at 4 p.m. They currently find themselves down 1-0 with a little over 16 minutes done here in the first half. Ali Montoya gets that ball kicked away. Montoya has been playing on the right side of that box all game. Jung gets it. Jung looking towards the box. Aikey gives it back to Jung. Jung out to Harvey. Harvey. And Stanford's going to reset here. Evans is going to get it right around midfield. Harvey kind of probing here. Back out to Montoya. Stanford just doing such a good job of holding their offensive formations. Montoya inside to Aikey, and that ball gets kicked away. That was a dangerous opportunity there for the Boston College defense. And players falling to the ground. There's going to be a whistle, and it'll go Boston College's way.
Tremendous look for Aikey there in the middle. I have no idea how Montoya was able to thread it through. She just left it right at that attacking point, and Aikey just couldn't corral it enough. But if she goes there with the left, kind of hooks around her defender, that's an easy goal for her. Definitely much easier than her first of the match.
Stanford with 4 shots so far here in the first half and a corner kick. Boston College with all zeros in the shot saves and corner kick categories. Haven't really gotten much going. And this pass right back to Stanford. Montoya with it. Well, if Boston College is going to have any hope of scoring and coming out of this game with a win, they're going to have to, at some point, get the ball over on Stanford's side, and Stanford has done a great job of not letting that happen.
Right, and unfortunately, that's just the reality of it, right? This is not a Boston College team that excels on the offensive attack, especially against its upper-level opponents. And Stanford is a team that is tremendous on the defensive end. These are 2 defensive-focused teams, and the only goal so far has been lucky. I would say outside of that, Boston College has done really well on the defensive end.
Evans finds Freer. Freer! That was a nifty pass there from Jung back to Freer. Now Freer's got some open grass, trying to find Montoya. Montoya running ahead of the Boston College defense, and Shippy is going to get it right before Montoya can. Beautifully executed there from Stanford, and that almost led to a golden opportunity.
And Shippy, that's a tremendous play. Out between the posts, she is able to glide over to her left and read the speed of Montoya along with the speed of the attacking Aikey that's going through the middle. And also knowing her speed, knowing that she's able to get to the ball faster than Montoya, who, if there had been an opening, would have been able to find Aikey with the keeper out past the net.
Shippy, a very important part of this Boston College defense that's been so good all year. 5th in the ACC in saves with 37. Came in with all kinds of credentials in her high school career. A 3-time state champion at Monroe Woodbury High School. She has anchored this Boston College defense so far, the junior. Right now, she's being put to the test against this Stanford offense. Evans. Once again, Stanford very patient, looking for their openings. Evans dribbles closer to the box, gives it to Montoya. Montoya out to Freer. And Stanford's just going to kind of reset here. Again, Stanford very patient. They're not going to do anything that they don't want to do. Evans. Back towards midfield for Harvey. Harvey back to Evans. They're just so patient. Jung goes over towards the left sideline. Usually Stanford operates through the right sideline, so changing things up there. Harvey over to Montoya, and Montoya's going to get that ball taken away. But then Montoya fights for it and gets it back. Freer, back out to Montoya. Just over 20 minutes done in the first half. That ball goes off a Boston College defender. And it's going to lead to a Stanford corner kick.
And it was all set up by the pressure from Montoya. She got it taken away once, didn't give up, tackled it away from her opponent, and then had the wherewithal to know where the defender was, knock it off the body, and set up the free position attempt.
Joelle Jung with the corner. She kicks it towards the slew of bodies in front of the net, and the ball bounces around, and it ends up just missing the net. My, oh my, it looked like Stanford had 3 different opportunities there to score it. Give Boston College credit for sticking with that play. Just trying to take the lid off the net here if you're Stanford.
Shea Harvey had the best look that time. There was a diving Shippy over to her right, and she chipped it. She tried to chip it in with so many bodies around her. Just got it a little too high, and Shippy was able to recover.
So Stanford has a big collision over on the far sideline there. I believe that was Bawama that went down. And so Bawama will get up, and Stanford will get possession here.
See if they can make anything out of this. This is kind of an awkward angle for a free kick, but they're setting up in a set position. You could choose to play it short and reset with Evans up near midfield, but you could also go into the box.
So Jung will initiate things, kicking it towards the bodies in front of the goal, and Boston College will kick it back the other way. But here's the thing, Boston College, I mean, every time they make a stop, they just kind of try to get the ball out of their zone. They're never actually creating any sort of prolonged opportunity for themselves.
I think it's understandable to an extent this early on with a 1-0 deficit. You feel like, okay, maybe if you get some possessions later on, you can score. But at some point, you're right, they have to obviously try to make something on the offensive attack if they want to even come out of this with a draw.
And Austin, I would agree with you if it were still 0-0. Unfortunately, there was that unfortunate mistake where Shippy kicks it off Aikey, and that leads to the first goal of the game for Stanford. At this point, I mean, Stanford would be perfectly content just continuing to pass the ball around and win 1-0.
Well, and if you look at even the goal, it happened because of that same play where Boston College was just trying to clear. They tried to clear it, and it went right off of Jasmine Aikey, who... how strong are her shins to get it that far the other way?
I need to know Jasmine Ike's shin workout routine. As she was able to find the net just off of a kickoff of her shin. Stanford's going to throw it in here over on the far sideline. Bawama is going to do the honors. She throws it in. Again, all the action happening on Boston College's side. Stanford already with 7 shots here in this game as we tick towards just under 22 minutes to go here in the first half. Stanford hasn't played in a while. Last time they played was against Pittsburgh on September 14th, so they're very well rested, fresh legs for the Cardinal. Their next game will be against Syracuse on September 28th here at Kagan Stadium.
I think on the same note, past just being well rested, you can kind of see a little bit of the they're still kind of waking up a little bit, especially on the offensive end, where they're getting the opportunities, they're just unable to convert, at least so far today.
Stanford once again wreaking havoc here against Boston College. Jung finds her teammate over on the left side, and we're going to get a whistle. And it's going to go back Boston College's way. And Shippy, the goalkeeper, is down. That's bad news if you're Boston College. Hopefully she's okay. They're going to whistle play dead here at 21:05 left to go in the first half. Looks like she's holding her arm. And now they're going to call timeout on the field, and that's the last thing you want to see if you're the Eagles. Shippy, who has been so good in net for the Eagles so far here in the young season. And here comes the Boston College training staff.
Thought at first she was holding that left arm, like the left wrist, but now it does look like it's a leg issue, which you hate to see always, but especially on a play that was whistled dead before she was able to get out of the net. And again, like you said, this is a big blow. They have a couple other backup keepers, but none with the credentials of Olivia Shippy.
Of course, Austin, you came prepared. You brought your binoculars, so you were able to see what was happening with Shippy.
They're always in my backpack. You know, I found out I was on this call 4 hours ago.
I was just relying on my 20/20 vision. You know, I always get checked at the doctor every December. And maybe I'm being a little too brazen and arrogant. Oh, you're handing me the binoculars. I feel so honored. And based on what I'm seeing through these things, they've got her up. They're still looking at her. I mean, she looks a lot better than she did when she first went down, so we'll see how things go. Let's talk about a little bit what's going on in the game so far. Obviously, Stanford up 1-0. They have 7 shots compared to 0 for Boston College. And, you know, we've brought it up a few times so far, but Boston College has had nothing that resembles an offense through the first 24 minutes and change here in this first half.
Right. They're clearing the ball every time, which is, again, understandable early on. I think it's about this point where you're going to start seeing their attack hopefully form a little bit, just because you have to at this point. You can't go into the halftime locker room with a 1-0 deficit, and Stanford will continue to attack because they only have 7 shots so far today. This is a team that averages almost 25 a match. So they're actually about over pace for what they average in a match. This is about a quarter of the way through. They'd finish with 28 if this were to go out into a full match. But they're going to keep shooting, and at some point that wall is going to break.
Never stop shooting. That's always the philosophy of every successful team. Shippy's back up. She looks healthy. As we get a air horn and a substitution, a couple of Stanford subs are going to run onto the field here.
And in for Stanford, number 11, Eleanor Klinger.
So Eleanor Klinger and Elan Nguyen come onto the field. They will sub in for Ali Montoya and Joelle Jung. Joelle Jung, who has been a big focal point of the Cardinal offense so far, along with Ali Montoya.
It's not like it gets easier, though, for the offense, and that's what's so special about this Paul Ratcliffe team is that your forwards can play a little more defense. Your midfielders can be a little more aggressive on the defensive end because you're able to sub and not lose anything. So you're right. Out comes Joelle Jung, who's been great this year. She's got 3 goals, 6 assists. Okay, here comes Eleanor Klinger, who's had 3 goals in only 5 matches this year. It's just an offensive barrage that allows players to give Paul Ratcliffe, all right, give me your best 60 minutes today instead of your best 90.
And you just look at the credentials on these 2 ladies who are coming off the bench for Stanford. Eleanor Klinger was second All-ACC freshman team last year. She scored a goal against Pittsburgh on September 14th, a match where 6 different members of the Cardinal team scored goals. And then you look at Wylan Nguyen. She was a member of the U.S. U17 Women's World Cup team in the Dominican Republic. And anytime you can be a part of the best under-17 players in the nation, that just shows how talented you are. Nguyen, just a freshman still. Aikey over on the right side kicks it off of a Boston College defender, and Freer is going to throw it in. Under 20 minutes here left to play in the first half. And that ball gets kicked out. Klinger trying to make a move there. And Freer will throw it in once again.
Close to being a corner. Stanford can still set something up here. It feels like the last 5 minutes or so of game action, the Cardinal haven't had the same offensive opportunities as they did early on. But still a lot of chances, and of course they're still playing in their dominant half of the field.
So Klinger once again trying to kick it towards the goal there. Goes off Ike, and then it'll go out of bounds, and Boston College will come the other way. Still 1-0, and something that Stanford has been really good at this year is wearing down their opponents. So although it's 1-0 right now, all this time they're spending over on the Boston College side. If you're on the Stanford side, you have to think that's going to really pay off, especially as we get into the second half and we start to see tired legs. Boston College eventually, I mean, theoretically, and what will probably happen is they're going to get worn down with all these attacks coming towards them on their side and not being able to create anything on offense.
Yeah, you also can't have opportunities slip out of your reach, like that last one where Boston College had a goal kick, they had an opportunity, and it just went out of bounds. Yeah, right past an open Boston College attacker. They've got to throw in here. You got to start pushing. 17.5-ish minutes left in the first half. They got to start getting something. Still shotless.
Less than 18 minutes to go here in the first half. And you said it, Austin. Still no shots, and we're coming up on about 30 minutes of game time played here in this match. It has been Stanford domination, much more than what you see on the scoreboard of 1-0. And if anything, that might give Boston College some hope, the fact that Stanford has dominated this first half so much, and they're still only down 1-0. Stanford backtracking here. Burkle going to give it to Evans. Nighttime is fully upon us here at Kagan Stadium. It is a beautiful evening indeed. I mean, Austin's here rocking the short sleeves in Stanford. That's a bold choice.
I spent the last 4 years in Eugene, Oregon. Anything is warmer than that. Some of the coldest nights of my life were at Autzen Stadium.
Boama. And this goes back to Evans.
Over half of this 5-person row we're in right now is wearing short sleeves right now.
I know. I'm the one who brought the jacket.
Yeah.
Maybe that says something about me and my lack of toughness.
Lance is wearing shorts.
That is true, but Lance is from Nebraska.
Right.
So he's used to frigid temperatures.
Right.
He's the type of guy where in the Midwest, you know, in the spring it gets up to 40 degrees and he's walking around in a t-shirt and shorts.
He's got his shades on.
Stanford coming towards the Boston College net here. Klinger with it over on the right side, and that goes out of bounds. Of course, I want to thank Lance Vi, who's producing this game here for us. Lance Vi, the director of live events at Stanford, newly minted official director of live events. So congratulations to him.
And a big smile on his face.
Ticking down towards 15 minutes to go here in the first half. Wynn kicks it towards the net, and that'll go off the head of Shea Harvey and out of bounds.
Elon Nguyen is so good at those corners. That's really her specialty. She comes in for Joelle Jung. They're able to not lose anything when it goes to those set pieces off the corner. That was a terrific look. That's one where if Harvey is able to get up 3 or 4 more inches, she hits that one down instead of popping up off the top of her head, and Stanford doubles its lead. But no luck so far, but you'll take 7 shots in 3 corners.
3 substitutions in here for Stanford. Brooke Holden comes in, along with Sammy Smith. Also out there is Jaden Thomas. So Stanford emptying the bench a little bit here, and why not? When you got the depth Stanford has, I mean, your backup 11 could easily win a lot of games in ACC play.
And with Thomas and Holden, those are 2 players that bring lightning in a bottle. Just 2 players that can spark at any time with their offensive attack. They can score in different ways, and they score in bunches. They'll be aggressive. It's fun to watch when they come in the last 15 because you know the goal is get towards the net, put it in.
Jaden Thomas, the 2024 Gatorade Texas State Player of the Year. She scored 39 goals in 17 games that year. For those doing the math, that's more than 2 goals a game, which is very hard to believe in any level of soccer. Some physical play happening here going towards the Stanford net, as Emily Mara was not taking any prisoners going towards the Stanford goal there.
She's aggressive. A couple times today that Mara's made some really strong plays.
Klinger over to Holden. Holden with a nifty move, and she gets tripped up there by a Boston College defender. Goes over to Smith, and then a battle for the ball between Klinger and a defender there. Klinger kicks it towards the net. And this Goes off a bunch of bodies and back to Stanford's possession. Elise Evans over to Nguyen. Bawama inside to Harvey. Harvey back to Bawama. Nice pass there. And kicked away there by Boston College.
Phenomenal tackle on the defense. She knew the ball was going past her. She's able to time her slide perfectly and kick it away. And now an opportunity for the Eagles.
So Boston College, they've started to get a little bit more movement towards Stanford's goal. And the referees, they're letting these ladies play here. We've seen some physical activity out there.
You can hear one of the Eagles say, "Settle, guys, settle."
And I think that's a good point. Boston College has come out very rushed, and ooh, Stanford almost scoring a goal there. That was an open opportunity. It's going to lead to a corner kick here for the Cardinal. I believe that was Klinger who had the opportunity.
Really nice play by Shippy as well. Read it well. Had to have eyes both ways. Had to have one going right where the attacker was coming. There was also someone streaking down the left wing. She was able to read it well, read the shot, and time it perfectly.
Excuse me, that was Kohler who had that opportunity towards the goal. Corner kick here for Stanford, and that's going to fly over to Stanford offensive player. Stanford now kind of discombobulated, as is everyone on the field. Ball is rolling on the ground as bodies fall to the floor, and Klinger kicks it towards the goal, goes back out to Nguyen. Nguyen inside towards a bunch of bodies. Ball goes off the head there at Bawama, and Boston College will kick it away.
Wow. Aggressive possession from both teams. These teams are flying all over the pitch right now. It feels like everyone's jersey is going to be a little dirtier after this one. They're playing really, really aggressive. And both teams who were billed as defensive units coming into this one, they've lived up to that billing.
Make sure you bring some quarters for the dorm washing machines.
Ugh.
If you're playing in this game. You remember that, don't you?
Too well.
Inside opportunity there for Stanford. Shea Harvey off her head and just to the right of the net. So Stanford once again creating all kinds of shot opportunities. There's 11. They've had 11 shots so far in this game. As Boston College is going to run on a substitution here. It's going to be Tess Barrett running on for Boston College, the freshman out of Cohasset High School in Cohasset, Massachusetts. First person in her high school's history to hit 200 points, 100 goals in her career. So she's coming off a very successful prep career here as she joins the Boston College Eagles. Stanford once again with the ball. This is Smith. Smith to Klinger. Klinger kicks it over to the left side of the field. And a battle going on there towards the corner. And Boston College will come up with it. Ticking down to just about 10 minutes to go here in the first half. Klinger with it once again. Out to Evans. Evans being very patient as she has been all game. Back to Klinger. To Nguyen. Nguyen trying to find someone there. Ends up going back out to Klinger. And the kick towards the goal. And, ooh, good opportunity there for Kohler once again. Kohler was kind of leaking towards the net. That pass just a little offline. And so it'll go out of bounds, and Boston College will get it back.
So under 10 minutes to go in the first half. No shots for Boston College. You've got to find something. You've got a goal kick. You've got an opportunity to set. And like we heard that Boston College player say, settle, be calm, make passes that go to each other. Don't give it back to the opposition because they can attack at will.
Another freshman on the field here for Boston College, Lily Kaliski. That's the 5th freshman who has seen playing time so far in this game. Again, a team full of freshmen. And we're going to get another sub here for Boston College.
I don't know about you, but I'm psyched to see where this Boston College team goes because already just a year and a half into the Chris Watkins tenure, what they've done to flip this program around after being a bottom feeder in the ACC to be really competitive last year, they've got really, really good pieces and great opportunities going forward with a terrific head coach to boot.
That was actually a Stanford substitution there. Millie Bray coming onto the field here for Stanford. So Stanford Up 1-0 as we tick under 9 minutes left to play here in the first half. Klinger chasing that one down as she goes towards the box. Over on the right side, she kicks it towards the goal. And a little bit offline there on the pass to her teammate. Stanford still with it, though. Just tenacious as far as creating opportunities. Boston College trying to clear it once again, and it's going to go past the midfield. Fight for the ball over on the far sideline, and Stanford's going to come up with it. Once again, all kinds of chaos here around the midfield. It just seems like every single time there's a loose ball or a 50-50 situation, Stanford gets it.
I'm kind of running out of different ways to say really good opportunity by Stanford, and it's cleared out again. It's just, it's the same thing over and over again for this Boston College offense, which again is understandable with how young they are, going on the road. Really their first big road game of the year, their only other one against Illinois. They're playing a top 5 team, and they look a little out of sorts.
Klinger over there on the right side with a move. Nice kick over towards the goal, right into the hands of Shippy, though. So Klinger had a good look. She tried to score the second goal of the game for the Cardinal, but Shippy in the right place at the right time.
Klinger's had moments like that this year where she's shot it from way downtown, and she's got that cannon. Left leg, right leg, doesn't matter. She can put it in from anywhere.
Burkle, who's had enough time back there around the goal to order her dinner, just got the Stanford offense rolling once again.
I don't think she's broken a sweat.
Less than 7 minutes to go here in the first half. Stanford, once again, trying to make something happen here. Good defense from Boston College. Stanford, you can just tell there's so much more experience, so much more physical. And with all that said, again, you got to give Boston College credit. We're ticking down to about 6 minutes to go in the first half, and the only goal they've allowed was a mistake.
Right. And that's not like their team broke down. It was a mistake like that. It was an accident, a complete accident. Went off the leg of a Stanford attacker and went about 40 yards back into the goal.
Some bad luck, if anything.
Right.
Evans. Over to Smith. And Smith with a bad pass there. Boston College coming back the other way. Boston College, they just have to be a little bit more patient. You've talked about it. You've heard people on the Boston College side just kind of trying to get their team to slow down, be a little bit more calm, not trying to force anything. Because that's exactly what Boston College has done so far in this game. That every single time they have the ball, it just seems like they panic, and then Stanford takes it away from them.
Even on the last kick, the one that went right to a Stanford defender, was headed up by Lily Freer. On the near side bottom of your screen, Bella Douglas, who's the top facilitator on this team, has 3 assists. She was wide open, calling for the ball, and they just didn't see her. Again, over-aggressive.
Evans finds Harvey. Harvey's got some open grass, and she kicks it right off a Boston College defender, and then nice play there from Emily Mara, and they're going to give the ball to Boston College. Less than 5 minutes here in the first half. And we're going to get a Boston College substitution. Natalie Gross comes onto the pitch, as well as Ada Henshine.
Homecoming for Natalie Gross a little bit from San Francisco into SI. Always cool to see players that go all the way coast to coast and then come back, and that's, I think a lot of times you talk about the negative sides of conference realignment. This is the exact opposite, where you're playing for Boston College all the way from San Francisco. You're maybe not expecting to come back and be able to play on a turf close to home, and that's exactly what Gross is able to do here.
You know, I am a bit biased, but being the California fan that I am and lover that I am, it has to also be a treat for these ladies to get a trip to California.
Yeah, definitely.
Once again, Stanford with an opportunity here. Harvey kicks it into a slew of Boston College defenders. We're ticking towards 4 minutes to go in the first half, and that bounces out of bounds. Sammy Smith is going to throw it in. Smith trying to make a move. And that ball is a shoot away once again by Boston College, right to Klinger. Klinger trying to find her teammate over there on the far side. And Thomas kicks it towards the middle of the field. Once again, back in Stanford's possession, it's Klinger again. Klinger over to Smith. Smith Into Harvey. Harvey kicks it off the side of her foot. A little bit of a no-look try there towards the net, and that goes out of bounds. Again, 3:20 to go here in the first half. We're getting to the waning moments of the first half of play. 13 shots for Stanford, 0 for Boston College. This entire game has been pretty much played on the Boston College side of the field.
Yeah, their defenders have to be feeling it at this point.
That ball was taken away from Mila Lee of Boston College. Shea Harvey with it. Harvey over to Thomas. Thomas on the left side, trying to make a couple moves here. Thomas, that's a nice play there from Natalie Gross, and she snuffed out that move from Thomas. So Thomas will throw it in. 2:30 to go here in the first. Excuse me, that's Bawama throwing it in. Bawama goes off of her over on the far sideline. And there's a foul call on Boston College. Bawama will throw it in again.
Give credit to this Boston College sideline, because they're still feeling it. They're hyped every time Boston College has an opportunity. They're loud.
Hey, and why not? You know, you're still only down 1-0. Anything can happen. Smith. Over to Klinger, back to Smith. Klinger gets it back.
And as we've seen in a game like this, all it takes is a mistake. All it takes is an opportunity with a little bad luck.
Less than 2 minutes left here in the first half. Boston College kicks it out of bounds. At this point, Boston College probably just wants to get back in the locker room, only down 1-0, and then try to reconvene and get ready for the second half. Unless they get handed an opportunity here. But Burkle doing a nice job of making sure that no opportunity comes to pass. This is Thomas dribbling the ball up the field. Thomas over to Bawama. And that's off of a Boston College defender. And into the middle of the field. Kicked away by Boston College. Less than a minute to go. And a mistake there from Stanford, but Elise Evans is able to track it down.
Nice run by Tess Barrett. Right in the middle. Through a couple Stanford defenders, and she was able to put the pressure on.
A little over 30 seconds left to go. Stanford trying to force something towards the goal here and see if they can score their second goal of the first half before the first half comes to an end. Sammy Smith. Over to Klinger. Klinger kicks it towards the net, off of Boston College defender, and then kicked away there. Stanford once again with the ball. 10 seconds to go. The countdown comes from the PA, and this is kicked out of bounds. So we come to the end here in the first half of play. Stanford with a 1-0 lead. They have dominated this first half. 15 shots to 0 for Boston College. And Austin, Boston College, they have a lot to work on here if they want to get back into this game.
What a weird first half. It was just kind of funky. Stanford edge legs as well. So it'll be Joelle Jung to kick it off for the Cardinal. Fresh 45, 1-0 Stanford leads on Jasmine Aikey's 30th career goal. And Stanford will send it back in towards the net of the Eagles again. Here's Bawama flicking it forward. Popcorn around midfield. Still in the attacking third of the Cardinal. Boston College just trying to get out of it, out near midfield, and now here come the Eagles, giving it right back up to Stanford, and we saw a lot of that in the first half.
Absolutely. Every single time that Boston College has any sort of motion going towards the Stanford side, Stanford just snatches it away from them. It's not just that Boston College can't get any goal-scoring opportunities, they can't even get close.
This is Stanford in their home blacks, attacking right to left on your screen. Of course, Boston College, the road whites, going the other way. Good touch forward, and I'll just pepper it back. 1-0 Stanford leads again. 15 shots for the Cardinal and none for the Eagles. See if they can pressure that back line at all. Now they do, and Stanford will reset with Caroline Burkle, who literally has not had to do anything today. She's facilitated the offense enough, but in terms of her play at between the posts, nothing.
She might have to go get a workout in after this game is over.
It's rare that you say that, but this is what Stanford was doing early in the year. And the reality for the Cardinal is this last week, or the last week of play, I should say, was not their best. Here's an opportunity for Aikey. Near side, swinging it in towards the post, headed out. And on the cross, Boston College will take over. But again, Stanford coming off its only loss and its only draw of the year. That came at the start of the month on the 7th against UCLA, falling 2-0 on the road and then drawing Clemson on the road. But then you bounce back with a 6-0 win against Pittsburgh. Still, coming off the only real struggle portion of the season that you've had, this back at home is kind of a prove-it game.
Yeah, and you go on the road against UCLA, that's going to be a tough game for anyone.
Kitahata off the right post. Karam's back out near the right corner, trying to keep it in on the Cardinal, and Boston College will swing it out. How about that from Andrea Kitahata?
That was really the second best scoring opportunity that Stanford's had in the entire game, besides going off the shin of Aikey early in the first half.
This one swung out of play. So, 2.5 minutes in, we've got some action. The 16th shot for the Cardinal. Coming off that 6-0 win, 6 different scores for Stanford. In their own right, Boston College is coming off one of their best results of the year against number 16 Wake Forest. They played to a draw.
Yeah, that's a huge result there for Boston College. I mean, we talked about how young this team is, and Wake Forest is really experienced, and they have national championship hopes.
Here's Murdoch weaving through, dropping it up back off near the top. Out on the right side. Montoya working, crosser into the box, headed up and over the net. Beautiful crosser from Ali Montoya, and they just couldn't hit Pater.
You know, if this is even possible, I feel like Stanford's passes are even crisper here to start the second half than they were in the first half. Stanford, I mean, they were very good at taking their time in the first half, but when they got towards the goal, there were some sloppy passes. The first 2 goal-scoring opportunities we've seen here for Stanford have come off of very good passes from different teammates.
You have to wonder if, with just a 1-0 lead, if Paul Ratcliffe is unhappy with the play of his team in the first half. You think you take 15 shots and a half and you're going to convert on more than one, especially when 4 of them result in saves, but maybe that's a point of emphasis. Crisper passes will lead to slightly better scoring opportunities.
Well, Paul Ratcliffe, you know, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time, not just in Stanford history, but in college soccer history, period. I have a feeling it's very hard to impress him.
Definitely. You win a championship, and that's the expectation. Looking for his 175th all-time conference win.
Wow.
It's a lot.
A lot.
Spanning multiple different conferences as well. Here's an opportunity. Montoya chasing it down the right sideline. Looking across. She gets it into the box. Here's a chance. Popping up and saving it is Shippy with the streaking attacker right behind her.
You know, and I think it's worth going even further into Paul Ratcliffe's bona fides. He's got 396 wins, which is the most out of any men's or women's soccer coach in the history of Stanford. Has won 3 national championships, reached 6 NCAA finals. He's won all kinds of conference titles. I'm not exaggerating when I say that this is one of the greatest soccer coaches in the history of the sport, at least in the United States.
Absolutely. He's done tremendous things here on the farm. And anytime you stay at one school for 20-plus years, you're doing something right. Opportunity for the Cardinal here. Jung trying to break out of the pack. It's tackled away from behind. Stanford will have a throw in. Good defense by the Eagles again.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's questioning Boston College's defensive effort. But when you're down 1-0, defense can't be the only thing. And so far, the Eagles have really been one-dimensional in this game. They played good defense, and they have had no offense on the other side.
Boama will throw it in. Leaves it short. Trying to get it back to her. A tangle near the corner. Boama's able to slip through. She crosses one in towards the box. It's kicked out. Now a chance curves wide to the right. Man.
Just a little bit too much English there on that kick from Kohler towards the goal. She had a really good opportunity. If she's able to straighten out the angle of that ball a little bit, it probably goes into that right back pocket there of the net as is, just kind of twisted its way past it far right.
They'll play short on the goal kick. I like this. Try to set it up a little bit. Now they go far side. And again, that is really the first time we've seen them break that center stripe. Spinning. A chance going forward for the Eagles. Stanford brings the double team to knock it away. Still tussling far sideline. And it'll be a throw in out of play for the Eagles.
Good hustle there from Bella Douglas. She didn't give up on the play there. A couple of Stanford players who were kicking the ball around, and Douglas came in and took it away. Ultimately kicked it off a Stanford player and earned Boston College some extra possession time here.
Just over 38 minutes to play. 1-0 Stanford leads on the throw-in. Goes right to the Cardinal, who will try to clear it towards midfield. Aikey trying to get positioning. Swinging it left side. Maybe an opportunity to make something going the other way. It's Goldthwaite tossing it forward. Poked away from behind. It goes off the foot of a Stanford attacker out past Sadie Mathis.
Well, you know, it's a really low standard compared to what we saw when you compare it to what we saw in the first half, but Boston College is at least getting some momentum going towards Stanford goal here to start the second half, which is an improvement for them because they just had absolutely no opportunities in the first.
Off the throw-in again. Poked back out. Poulin will recover, and then it gets taken away going the other way. Here's Charlotte Kohler dropping it off. Aikey with an angle down the left sideline. One defender to beat. Step over to her right. Now she'll step further. She'll swing it in just off the top crossbar. Second chance for the Cardinal. Knocks off a defender. Third chance goes wide right.
Oh, my Lord. Aikey, that was one of the more impressive shot opportunities I've seen. Aikey contorting her body, falling off to the right side, able to almost twist that ball into the net. And then you got to give Montoya some credit following up the play. She had a good opportunity kicking it towards the net. Boston College is mighty lucky that this game is still 1-0.
So 21 shots for the Cardinal and just one goal to show for it, and another opportunity. Kitahata is able to come away with it. Jung gives it up to Montoya on the right side. 1-0 Stanford leads. Montoya sprinting down the right side, looking across. She gets it in towards the box, kicked again, and over again.
It could very easily be 3-0 right now if you're Boston College. Stanford here in less than 10 minutes of play in the second half have had 4 bona fide goal-scoring opportunities. They now have 22 shots to none for Boston College. Stanford just keeps on creating these great opportunities. They just can't seem to take the lid off the net here.
1-0 Stanford leads, 22 shots. This is relatively similar to the UCLA game where Stanford took 21 shots and was held scoreless in that one. Look at Boama, a blur down the middle of the pitch, dumping it off to Aikey, and it gets intercepted by Poulin. Out on the right side, Cardinal are able to break through again. Another chance. Aikey with a good touch. Dropped off from distance, popping up off the hand of Shippy and out towards the end line. Stanford just continues to be relentless on the attack, and Boston College will have a throw-in.
That was such a great pass there from Aikey, giving it up to Jung. Jung had a great angle. Again, Boston College lucky that one didn't go in.
Aikey with her back to the net. Across her, looking for Kitahata. Bodies, back to the top. Kohler breaks through, and now gives it back up. Now Kitahata, see if she can kind of run the point here. Step through, going to her left. Weaving Eneline is knocked down from behind. No whistle. Still back out near the edge of the box. Now Kitahata will take it again. Step through, going left. Left foot chip shot. Headed up. Back to the top. Harvey. Shot number 24 for the Cardinal.
Well, it just seems like a matter of time at this point before Stanford kind of blows this open. We've talked about it a little bit in the first half, how Stanford just over time starts to wear down their opponent as they continue to create opportunities on their side of the field. And you can see right now, I mean, Stanford just shot opportunity after shot opportunity after shot opportunity. Unless Boston College can turn around this momentum, they're walking a really dangerous line because eventually Stanford is going to strike, and they're going to strike fast.
You look at the shot chart for Stanford this year. The times that they've taken over 25 shots, their goals per game. 5 against Santa Clara, 7 against San Francisco, 3 against San Diego State. That was a light day. 6 against Pitt, and 6 against Arizona. They're at 24 right now and only have 1 goal to show for it. Bodies fly around the middle of the pitch. No whistle. They're going to say the advantage might have gone to Stanford. See if they can take advantage. Kohler breaking through the box, splitting 2 defenders. She flicks it in with the left, and it's taken away by the defense again. Little bit of a miss kick. Blama's able to fight for it. Ball near the top. And now Kitahata will reset again. Good touch inside. Here comes Kohler. Working end line. Slides it off a defender, and it'll be the 5th corner for the Card.
I got to give the Eagles some credit. I mean, although they have gotten some luck here in the second half, I mean, the fact that they have bent so far and not broke. I mean, that just gives you an idea of how gritty this team is, coached by Chris Watkins. Hey, look, they know they're being dominated right now on the shot chart, but they have not given up.
Jung takes the corner, swings it towards the box, popped up, back out near the 6. Another chance, and it's jumped on by Shippy, and it stays 1-0.
Well, eventually, I mean, I know I sound like a broken record here, but eventually Boston College has to start playing this game on the other side of the field. Because right now, everything is happening, and they are just have their backs against the wall, their backs against the rope. They need to find a way to create some sort of pressure on Stanford, because right now Stanford's feeling no pressure at all.
I think that Boston College in the second half, we're almost 12 minutes in, I think they've had it in their own side of the field under 10 seconds. I'm not exaggerating. I really don't feel like they've had any opportunities. Strong body against Aikey. That's Lowenberg playing the defense. Aikey loses it in the corner. Does Stanford get a corner out of this? No. Goal kick. I thought it might have gone off of Lowenberg.
And I think you made a good point earlier, Austin. You know, despite the fact that Stanford's up 1-0, I mean, Paul Ratcliffe is probably frustrated that it's just 1-0. Right. He probably feels like, I mean, Stanford beat Pitt last week 6-0. He probably thinks it should be a score like that at this moment with how Stanford is dominated on the shot chart.
Another opportunity near midfield. It's tackled away, but it goes out of touch on the left sideline, and Stanford will have another throw-in. I'm excited to see what this Stanford offense does when it finally breaks through, because I do feel like once it scores the second, and I say that like it's inevitable because it feels as such, once it scores the second, big things are going to come for this Stanford offense.
The fact of the matter is, though, if you're Stanford, I mean, you don't really need to play at any sort of a rush. It's not like you have to score a goal here because Boston College just hasn't had any offensive attack. I mean, if you just continue to pressure Boston College, even if you don't score another goal, the Eagles have not proven that they can get any sort of an elongated offensive possession to even threaten putting something on the scoreboard. Now, obviously, if you score a second, then you really put the game away, and that's what Stanford's trying to do. But the point being that unless the Eagles can create some sort of offense, this is still a game that Stanford has complete control of.
Boston College clears it out outside the scoring box. Now around midfield. See if Boston College can put something together with possession of the ball. Not yet. Goes back out towards the top. Just over 30 minutes to play. Trying to swing it towards midfield, and it gets taken away by the Stanford defense again. Wama will look to facilitate bottom of your screen. 1-0 the Cardinal lead. This game started with Jasmine Aikey scoring her 30th career goal on really what almost felt like an own goal. Since then, it's been all Cardinal, but just with a 1-0 lead.
Hey, you know, as they say in baseball, it shows up as a goal in the box score.
Right. Over 30 minutes to play. And Stanford, like you said, just content with the ball in its possession. Here it gets taken away. And I like this from Boston College, setting it up in their defensive third. Montoya does not like it. She tries to take it away, and she'll force the throw-in.
See, the unfortunate thing for Boston College is that when Stanford is patient and they kind of pass the ball around and take their time, Boston College just isn't bringing enough pressure to really force them into any sort of hasty decisions. Every time a Boston College player has the ball, you have a Stanford player running straight at them, trying to pressure the ball out of them. And so far, Boston College hasn't responded well to that pressure at all.
And there's an Eagle down on the field. Looks like maybe Ella Slensky. And that's who it is. The midfielder from Pennsylvania. And she'll get up. Just kind of walk it off a little bit. Stanford will get a free kick.
You wonder if it was one of those things where maybe she banged knees with someone. It's one of those feelings. It does not feel good in the moment, but usually doesn't lead to serious injury.
So just over 30 to play. Stanford leading 1-0. Off the free kick. In towards the top of the box. Stanford's able to slip through. Back out near the top. Bodies flying. And Boston College will clear. Lily Furrier has about 8 different Cardinal players screaming her name, wanting possession. And that's a good sign. That means there's a lot of open bodies like this one. Straight down the middle. Evans finding an opening right side. It goes back out to Kitahata, who puts a body on it. Now she'll dance. Going left, now right. Stepping through with the left. Step over, but it goes right to Olivia Shippy.
Kitahata with a series of incredible moves there. I mean, she absolutely had that Boston College defender on skates. And Kitahata ultimately with a good shot opportunity, but just right into the hands of Shippy.
26th shot for the Cardinal, just one goal to show for it.
That Boston College defender who found herself on skates was Elisa Freeman.
Number 18, Elon Wynn. And number 27, Brooke.
Early substitutions for the Cardinal. Elon went, and interesting enough, Brooke Holden, who you usually see in the final 15 minutes to kind of bring some more offensive punch. Well, I think that's a sign.
Yeah, I think that's a sign that Paul Radcliffe, he senses the moment right now. He feels like Stanford just needs that little extra oomph to get the ball into the net, and he knows if they score the second goal, the game is pretty much well in hand.
So Holden playing that striker position right in the middle. You see her left side of your screen moving over to her right. Stanford trying to break through the defense. Nearly do, but it's taken away on the other end. Sprinting for it, Sadie Mathis trying to keep it in touch. She does. Good little chip forward. Maybe something for Boston College. Trying to weave around. In the middle, it's Slensky. Dumping it off on the left side. Finally a possession chance for the Eagles. Out on the right side corner of the box. Stripped away by the Cardinal on a good tackle, and now they'll go forward on the other end. Kitahata right side. Stops. And they get it back to Win at the top. Montoya, bottom of your screen, not the side she usually works from. She drops it off forward to Harvey and then gets it back. A lot of space in front of her. Takes it near the top. Montoya working to her right. Takes a long shot, diving to her right is Shippy. And she can't make the save, but it doesn't matter. It'll go out of touch past the back end line.
That shot takes some guts. She was a long way from the net, but she decided, heck, let's give it a go there. Pulled the trigger, and ultimately just a little far left there of the net. On that last defensive possession there for Stanford, Boston College finally gets the ball over onto the Stanford end. But you can just see Stanford is just so physical. They're so experienced, and they're just bigger than these Boston College players who are so young. They're able just to take it right away and come back the other side.
Stanford will get another throw-in. Don't know how much more there is to say at this point. Boston College has struggled to get anything going on the offensive end. I would love to see a time of possession chart for this one. Right now, I would hazard a guess at Boston College is possessed for less than 7 total minutes. And again, that's not being over-exaggerate. I really do think that is what it's at right now. Because Stanford's had a lot of possessions just like this, where they're fine weaving the ball around the back third. Kind of toying with the defense.
I mean, Stanford, they're just so experienced as far as like how to win games. And this is how you win. I mean, yes, Stanford has a very explosive offense, so they can overwhelm you. But even when the ball isn't going in the net like it is today, I mean, they just possess the ball for so long, it just takes away opportunities from the opposition.
Montoya with options down the middle, over on the right side. Jung leaves it to the corner. Kitahata one-on-one, working end line, in the corner, trying to make a possession out of it, and it gets thrown out of touch. Stanford will have a throw-in.
In for Stanford, number 11, Eleanor Klinger.
Eleanor Klinger, another offensive-focused player, will step in.
Eagles bringing in Tessa Barrett. We saw her get some action in the first half. She's back out here in the second.
Freer tosses it in off the throw and then gets it back. Little give-and-go action out on the side. And a whistle goes against the Cardinal. Just under halfway through this second half. Stanford leading 1-0. 27 shots for the Cardinal and just 1 goal to show for it. And it's not that Stanford's been inefficient on goal. 8 of its shots have come on goal. So under the season average, but still it's not a bad mark by any means.
Yeah, Boston College, they've gotten a little lucky. You got to give their defense a little bit of credit too, though, for, like I said, bending but not breaking. You got to give Shippy some credit. She has really played very well in the net. I mean, compared to Burkle on the other side, Shippy's running a marathon.
Right.
And Burkle is just chilling, waiting for something to happen.
Down the right touchline. Stanford in its attacking third. Back to the top. Kitahata swings one with the left. She got it!
It was just a little over.
I saw it go through. I was like, is there a hole in that net back there? It kind of snuck to that top left corner above the net. I thought I saw it go in. That's on me.
No, you're good.
Hey, I'd rather call it in than out.
It's kind of like when you play pickup basketball and you have those old nets that are starting to tear down and you don't know if it actually went in or not, or if it just kind of bounced off.
So, a good look. I'll give myself credit for that. And the 28th shot for the Cardinal. Stanford has reached the 30-shot mark 4 times this year. In those matches, they've outscored their opponents 22-0. Sitting at 28 shots right now. You'd think that most of Stanford's shots, when Stanford has put up games with a lot of shots, you'd think that it would be because they're down. It's the exact opposite. They take a lot of shots when they're up because they never take their foot off the gas.
Absolutely, and they just own possession so well. You know, just naturally, when you have possession for so long, you're going to get shot opportunities, and we've seen that from Stanford here in this game. I mean, they just always have the ball, and when you always have the ball, you're going to take shots.
Left side, two defenders hounding. Boston College breaks through near the top. Shot goes wide.
That right there may have been the best opportunity that Boston College has had all game. The shot there was taken from Ellie Slensky of Boston College, just shooting it right, left. And, I mean, I think that's the first shot that Boston College has had in the entire match. And what's so tough here for the Eagles is not only have they had such few opportunities and they're having such trouble creating opportunities, when they get the few opportunities they have, there's so much pressure on them because they know they're so few and far between.
That was a good look from Boston College. Like you said, resulted in the only shot of the day, but they also had one in near that attacking area that just didn't go their way. Klinger drops it off behind the back. Left it a little long. Stanford's got another throw in. Blama calling for players to move closer to her. Now she'll lob it in. Near the box. An angle for Holden. Trying to break past her defender. Holden near the end line is tangled away by Lowenberg. A whistle will blow, and it goes against the Cardinal. Maybe a little momentum for the Eagles. I think if you're the Eagles, you have to play it as momentum.
I mean, look, if you're Boston College, I mean, you've been dominated so far in this game, but you're only down 1-0, and you got 20 minutes to go. Right now, if you're the Eagles, hey, it's a 20-minute game. Let's just try to get as many opportunities as we can in 20 minutes and see if we can seal this one.
This is a Boston College team that has been solid on the attack, especially in some of its biggest games. You look against Pitt, they were able to score in that one, score early in that one. But 4 against Fairleigh Dickinson, 4 against Stonehill early on, 6 against Albany. So they've taken advantage when the opponent has been of the lesser variety. Now against a really, really good Stanford team, they're struggling.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. Not to make light of those opponents, but none of them are to the caliber of Stanford.
And a yellow card assessed against the Cardinal.
First yellow card of the game for either team.
I believe that goes against Elise Evans.
That Boston College bench, they were awfully hyped at that yellow card. Hey, the bench is still fighting. They still got momentum.
One-0 Stanford leads.
Yeah, that yellow card was for dissent against Elise Evans.
Just over 20 and a half minutes to play in this one. Stanford took the lead early on. They had Aikey in towards the box, but it gets punched out.
Yeah, that angle there, that was a really good opportunity. If that pass could have just gotten over the head of that Boston College defender, Kitahata, it was just her in the net.
Now maybe an opportunity for Boston College. Going down the top of your screen. Leaving it forward. Playing the defense is Evans, and she clears it out. Back Stanford's way, they might have a chance out of this. It's about even on the offensive end. This one skied in towards the box, and pouncing on it is Shippy before the Stanford attacker could get there. But Stanford, again, took the lead on this one early on, just 10 minutes in. Jasmine Ike scored her 30th career goal. And no matter how many times we say it, I think it might get weirder every time.
I mean, it was equally surprising as it was hilarious, the way that Stanford has scored their only goal. Also very ironic that Stanford has created so many great goal-scoring opportunities, and their one goal comes off of a kick off of Ike's shin.
Here comes Poulin, leaving it on the right side. Mela Lee, one of the leading freshman scorers on this team, tangling as she tries to enter the tooth of the defense. Gives it up to Poulin. From the left, she strikes, and she swings it way wide.
You know, it's taken them 70 minutes, actually a little bit less than that, because they had a shot about 4 or 5 minutes earlier. So it's taken them about 65 minutes. But Boston College is finally creating some offensive opportunities. It's taken them a while, but got to give them credit. I mean, they're starting to just break through. The question is, will it be a little too little, too late? They only got 18 minutes, a lot over 18 minutes, about 18:45 left here to get one into the net.
But they get another takeaway and a good through ball on the other side, trying to enter the attacking area now. What can the Eagles do? They get it tackled away. It goes out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Boston College. 18.5 to play. Boston College has gotten 2 good looks recently. Just trying to crack through. Weirdly, still just a 1-0 contest. They play the throw-in short. Lowenberg look to run the offense. She's a goal scorer. She's an attacker as well as a strong defender. Good touch, dumping it to Poulin. Had that one shot earlier that went a little wide. She breaks past her defender, looking to enter the area, chips it in. Now a chance for Boston College. Poulin trying to track it down. It goes out back towards Klinger, who weaves past the sliding defender. And it'll go out of bounds.
Well, again, the Eagles, they've played better on offense over these last 7-8 minutes than they have the entire game. And again, I just said it, but is it too little too late? I mean, they're just now creating some good offensive possessions. Now they have to get to the next point. Can they put a ball into the goal? And we've seen on the Stanford side, they've had the ball on offense and creating good offensive possessions all game. And they've only been able to put one ball in the goal, and it was off a mistake.
Now they'll get a throw in. Stanford will sub a couple players in.
Number 10, Charlotte Kohler.
One thing is for sure, this game at this moment is a lot more interesting than I think Paul Ratcliffe would like it to be and thinks it should be. Right now, reasonably, with Stanford's shot disparity over Boston College, this game should be a 3-4-0 game. But as it is, the Eagles, they still got a shot to steal this one if they can somehow create a goal here in the next 17 minutes.
Uh-oh, here comes Ike on the takeaway, puts it on the carpet, diving for it is Shippy as she falls forward. And Ike had a golden opportunity to double the Stanford lead. Stanford band trying to bring the fans in it as well. Bwama tussling, Nguyen pokes it away near the end line. Swinging it through, it gets sent over towards Burkle. Now a chase, Burkle's gonna leave the net. Man, another good chance streaking forward for it, or the Eagles, and Burkle read it well.
I really respect the grit of this Boston College team. You know, they've come in here to Kagan Stadium, huge underdogs, and despite the fact that Stanford has dominated them in almost every statistical category, they have not let up. And they still, despite the fact that Stanford has been taking it to them now for about 75 minutes, have a lot of heart, and they're running around this field. They still believe.
Kitahata looking to end that belief as she works end line. Thought she was tangled up. It'll be swung out of bounds. That saves the corner, but it'll be a throw-in for Stanford near that corner. Bwama will do it. Bwama surveys, finds Kitahata, who's somehow wide open as she tosses it to her left. She'll try to go end line again. Step through, loses her defender, puts her on skates. Now she'll swing it in towards the top. A chance off the top crossbar. Second chance headed up. Third chance, Kitahata misses.
It is absolutely incredible that the ball has not gone in the net here in this second half. That's now 31 shots for Stanford, and they still have not found a way to get it within those crossbars.
It's one of those games. Maybe the result of being off for a little bit for Stanford. They haven't played since that win against Pittsburgh. That was 11 days ago. It's the longest rest they've had this season. And it just does seem like they're a little bit off.
Is there a full moon tonight? This feels like the type of game where there's like some sort of full moon or some sort of supernatural
Something
powers at
weird's
work.
happening.
I mean, look, again, I keep on harping on this, but the Eagles, they're still only down by 1. They've been dominated so far. If they get this ball in the net over on the Stanford side, some sort of mistake or some sort of big opportunity, they can walk out of this thing with a draw. I'm not even going to go towards them possibly winning this game. They got to score 1 goal first. But that's just incredible when if you've watched this game, anyone who's watched this game can tell you that Stanford has been the better team. It just really hasn't shown up. The level of domination has not shown up on the scoreboard whatsoever.
Stanford's taken 31 shots, their most this season, 32. Looking for some insurance with Kitahata. Just outside the attacking area. She swings it through. Kitahata got it! A little insurance from the captain. It's 2-0 Cardinal.
There you go. Kitahata finally breaking the seal there. Picks up her 6th goal of the season. The 2-time All Pac-12 second team member and the 2025 member of the All Preseason ACC team comes through there to really put this game away in the favor of Stanford. And now, if you're the Cardinal, you start to feel a little bit of that pressure go away. Because there is some pressure when you're only up 1-0 and you've been taking all those shots and they haven't really gone in. Now if you're Stanford, you feel like you're in full control of this one, and you just got to, hold things off here for the last 14 minutes.
Aikey with the feed, Kitahata the finish. If you had to draw it up, I think that's the two you draw it up with, right? And Stanford leads 2-0. Now they can maybe let up a little bit, especially as the kick goes over the head of the attacker, Sadie Mathis.
And that's got to be so demoralizing if you're Boston College. The fact that you've been fighting so hard for so long, you're keeping it at 1-0, and now it's 2-0. You wonder how much more fight these Eagles have.
See what they can do. Final 13 minutes. They were able to pick up 2 shots in about an 8-minute stretch. They need a miracle here. Nguyen tries to tackle it away, sliding past the defender. Out near midfield. Good drop-off on the left side. Maybe a chance for the Eagles here. Entering the box. Swing shot goes off the body of Evans. She'll clear it out. Near Kitahata around midfield. Kitahata heads it forward. Aikey again. Popped over near side. Pauline lets it go over her head. It's cleared out again. Now here comes Aikey. A chance again. Here comes Kitahata. Ball goes off her body. She'll try to corral it near sideline. And it goes out of bounds.
Kitahata with 6 goals. She's already got 2/3 of her goal total that she had last year in 23 games. This is just her 10th game of the season.
Now for Kitahata also. 28 goals, 28 assists in her career.
She's a very balanced offensive player.
Incredible.
Absolutely. And how cool for her, too. I mean, there's people on this Stanford team from all over the world. That's part of what makes this program so good. For Kitahata to be a senior from San Mateo, just down the street, and to have an opportunity here to be on a team that can win a national championship, it's got to be special for her.
Talk about opportunity. Here comes Aikey. 1-on-1. This is where she's the most dangerous. Near the top. She'll swing one in, and it's right to Shippy. A great look from Aikey again on shot number double threes for the Cardinal.
33-3 is the shot disparity so far in this game.
Just a field goal for the Eagles. See if they can do anything. The ball gets lost on the touchline, and it'll stay with Boston College.
You know, Austin, one thing we got to work on next time we do a broadcast together, I think we've referenced baseball, football, and basketball all at least once in this in this match.
Was I with you when I referenced volleyball the other day? Or
Now-
it was a couple weeks ago. It was near the start of the year.
Now that's respectable. Lance has got you doing a lot of volleyball games, so you got volleyball on the brain.
Lance is just having a good time. This is the first time. I don't know. Have you been with Lance out on soccer?
No, it's super chill. I mean, he's just sitting here laughing it up. I feel so confident with him sitting next to me here. I just feel like I can take on the world.
Is he eating your Chipotle?
I hope he hasn't.
I thought I saw him munching on something.
I mean, it's cold at this point.
Here's a chance for Boston College. They swing it in off the free kick. A header goes up, and it has to be cleared out by the Cardinal. Just over 10 to play. To really give a big time inside the booth, 2 Kyles at the Chipotle that you went to earlier.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I took the wrong Chipotle order. I think this was for Kyle S., not Kyle M., but I was in a rush, trying to get here. So if Kyle S. is out there watching the match, I apologize. I hope you enjoyed the burrito that I ordered. I mean, I think that, honestly, I think you got the better of the trade-off. I think the burrito is better than the bowl, to be honest with you.
And I think this is a good time to remind you. Thanks for listening, watching here on here at Stanford. My name is Austin Oda alongside Kyle Morrison. For those of you wondering, his last name does not start with an S. Boston College will flick it towards their attacking third, spinning around, and then it's tackled away. Good defense by Bwama. Just under 10 to play here from Kagan. 2-0 Stanford leads, looking to get back in the win column after winning against Pitt, but 2 straight relatively tough matches. On the other end, it looks like Boston College will continue its struggles against ranked opponents, as in the Chris Watkins era, they're 0-1-2, so they've drawn twice against ranked opponents, which is a big step up because they've really struggled. They really struggled in that category in the Jason Lowe tenure. They went 0-21-2 against ranked teams.
I mean, look, this is a process for Boston College. I mean, this is a rebuilding process. This is, if you're Chris Watkins, you're trying to build a culture here with Boston College. By no means is this going to be an overnight thing, but the fact that they fought so hard against the number 3 team in the nation here, I think has to give Chris Watkins a lot of positivity and a lot of good thoughts.
On the cross, headed back towards the top, and the opportunity thwarted for now. Nguyen is able to come away with it, going right. Stanford looking to add on and really close this one out on what's a 2-0 game with just under 9 to play. Murdoch, pushed from behind. She's still able to get through, and they'll let him play through it. Boston College has numbers if they want it. Slowing down to corral it is Mathis, and that might save him. Mathis swings it forward. Here's a good look at the net, but it goes overcooked past the body of the attacking Mara. Yeah, it's been a while since Boston College has been near the top of the ACC, but to go from, again, winning 4 games in ACC play over 5 years that Jason Lowe was there, to winning 4 games last year alone in ACC play, that's something to be very proud of.
Absolutely.
Kitahata with bodies bumping is stripped, but it goes back out towards the middle of the pitch.
And look, Chris Watkins, he knows how to build a program. He did it at Gonzaga. At Gonzaga over 7 seasons before coming here to Boston College. He was 79, 33, and 16. He won 2 WCC Coach of the Year awards. And he was also part of a BYU squad from 96 to 2016 that was very successful as well. So if there's anyone who can turn this around for Boston College, it's Chris Watkins, and you've already seen it. I mean, Chris Watkins has already stepped up the level of this program in just a couple of years he's been here compared to what it was before.
Last win for Boston College against a ranked team came in 2017. And here's an opportunity going down the left side. It's an even break 3-on-3 for the Eagles. They'll slow it down. Look to work. Mara stepping through. She'll take a shot that Perkle pounces on. Might have been assisted by Elon Wen. I think gave a little extra poke there.
Yeah, and then she pushed Nguyen away when they were both getting up. So a little bit of chippiness between these two squads.
Under 7. Boston College has finally gotten up on the shot chart. Stanford looking to keep another opponent scoreless. Whistle will keep the ball going Stanford's way as Shea Harvey gets hit to the carpet.
And Austin, I just got to say, what an incredible crowd
Yeah.
that Stanford has drawn here for this Thursday night game at Kagan Stadium. I mean, there's not much empty space to sit if you're coming in to watch this game. And it just shows you how much the Stanford community really cares about this women's soccer program. And that's part of the reason why this women's soccer program has been so successful for so long here at Stanford.
Absolutely. It's impressive, and you see it in really every sport here on the farm. What they're able to bring, the attendance is spectacular. And we saw it early in the year where before students were here, Stanford's on the quarter system. I got to experience it firsthand at Oregon where students, there just aren't people there early in the year to show up. And still, Stanford was bringing in packed crowds to these home games, which speaks past the student body and just means that Stanford soccer has become ingrained in this community.
Absolutely. I was on the quarter system as well. I didn't go to a great institution like Oregon, like you did, Austin.
Well,
I cut my chops at the small little D2 underdog institution, Seattle Pacific University. But I will admit that when I showed up to SPU in September and the soccer team was already through like almost halfway of their season, I was like, dang, it must have been lonely for these teams before everyone showed up.
I didn't need that from you. Here's Elon Nguyen passing it through, getting it back near the top. Still around the center of the turf. She gets pushed from behind. The whistle will not be blown. Now Stanford will try to break through. Another shot goes off the leg of a sliding defender for Boston College. Just under 5 to play, and Stanford will poke it away around the right touchline. Neither team is letting up right now in the final 5 minutes of this one.
No, I mean, Stanford, this is what they do. They're going to keep their intensity up until the very last second of the game. And then, again, I give Boston College a lot of credit. I mean, we've seen teams against Stanford get down and then kind of fold because of just how intense and how hard Stanford is to play. But the Eagles, they have not folded at all. I mean, they're still running around, playing with a lot of effort. Speaks a lot to the culture that Chris Watkins is building here for this Eagles squad.
I'm a big-time believer in this Chris Watkins team. In the future, really in this season, it feels like the ACC, especially at the top, has had a little more parity than in years past. And so we'll see. I think this is a team that can definitely compete in the ACC this year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're going to be a scary team to play, especially with just how many young players they have. There's not a lot of knowledge really yet about a lot of the players on this Boston College team. And you got a lot of ladies on this team who are playing with house money. They're coming in with intensity. They're excited to be on the team, excited to be playing these ACC opponents. So I would not be surprised at all if we see them take down a couple of top teams in the ACC before the year is done.
Under 4 to play now. And if you're Boston College now, you're trying to find any momentum. Stanford rushes the keeper again. Might result in an opportunity for a possession. Stanford still got most of its starters in here with just about 3.5 minutes to play. Sammy Smith playing the defense. He gets poked away out near Harvey. A whistle will blow, and it'll stay with the card.
It'll be another tough test for Boston College on Sunday, playing Cal. Cal's had a good start to the year.
Yep.
They're 6-1-5.
Receiving
They're 2-0.
votes.
Yeah, 2-0-1 in conference play, so that'll be tough. On the other side for Stanford, they'll be facing a Syracuse team that has not had a very good start to the year, at least in conference. They're 0-3-1. So still don't want to let up, though. Syracuse, still a Division I institution, still a women's soccer program that can give anyone a tough time if you don't show up and give 100% effort.
Good read there on the defensive end by Boston College, but Kitahata still with under 3 minutes to play. It's tracking it down like it's 0-0. When breaking through, nearing the top of the crease, trying to find Boama. End line, sent in. Now a shot, trickles out. Stanford looking for the corner. It'll be a throw-in.
Yeah, the games I've watched Stanford so far, it's become very apparent to me that Paul Ratcliffe does not believe in running out the clock.
No. His team will never leave early. Kitahata to Harvey. They're going to play the full 90, and they're going to play the full 90 again. Even like they're down. And that makes it so when they are down, like they played against UCLA, they were still able to fight in that one. Here's a crosser that goes right off the side of the netting. Under 2 minutes to play.
Corner kick, Stanford, number 18.
Actually went off a defender for Boston College, so Elon Nguyen will take a corner. saw earlier in this year when there were about 10 seconds to play in a match, and Stanford got a corner. Elon Wen sprinted to take it. They were up like 5. Here's another one, and another chance. Bodies flying everywhere, and the joust will go Boston College's way. Just under a minute and a half to play. Stanford has taken 35 shots. It's the most they've taken in any match since last year when they played UC Santa Barbara here in the NCAA tournament. They took 35 and scored 5 in that one. Late sub for Boston College.
And for Boston College, number 21, Andy Wright.
Throwing for the Cardinal. Look at, I mean, Kitahata is playing 110% speed.
Yeah, if you watch that without knowing the score, you'd think Stanford was down 1-0 or tied 1-1. But no, they're up 2-0, and they're probably going to win this match. They're just playing with, they just never let up on the intensity.
Fans are still in it. Throwing it in for the corner, looking for Ike. It gets lost past the end line.
We just had a fan heckle an official with less than 50 seconds to go in the game, and Stanford up 2-0. That's passion right there. That's fan
That's
passion.
culture. Off the goal kick, it goes out towards the right boundary, and Stanford will have another throw in. They want to take another shot. They want to score again. It's so important for all these late season tiebreakers, especially in ACC play. Kitahata chasing it, trying to keep it in. Now she does. Kitahata still fighting, swinging it in towards the angle, swinging it in again. She'll take a shot. It goes off the body of a defender. Another chance. Back out towards the top. And it pops out towards midfield, and that'll do it. 2-0, Stanford just dominates for the full 90. They outshot Boston College 36-5.
It was all Stanford here this evening. I mean, they probably